I tell people sometimes I'm not a real writer. And
What?
yeah, I do.
Happy New Year and welcome to my brand new series, A2A. That's author to authors with Terri. And I am so excited that this author is going to help me launch this new series. And this author is multi-award winning and USA Today best-selling author Lynette Eason. So we're going to learn all sorts of really fun things about Lynette. Also, I want to say thank you so much. If you're a new viewer, I hope you stick around and I hope you subscribe. And my subscribers, gosh, guys, thank you so much for sticking with us as we grow and bring in new authors and new books and all sorts of exciting trivia and writer's tips. So without wasting any more time, let's welcome Lynette Eason.
Hi there.
Hey, Lynette, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you. Thank you for having me. This is fun.
Well, it's my pleasure. So, as I looked over your resume and your bio, I discovered that you really are one busy lady. Not only are you writing best-selling romance, suspense, and getting all these awards and everything else, but you're also a professional photographer as well. So,
That's photography is kind of my stress reliever, is something that I can get out and go do, have fun, and then I'm not sitting in front of the laptop all day doing this, writing. So I do photography for fun too. But I also do have people that ask me to do headshots and family photos and that kind of thing. So
yeah, and weddings. I saw that you were doing weddings as well. So
I've done a couple other. I'm a little nervous about weddings still at this point because you don't get any do-overs for that. but yeah, I've done a couple, and it's been fun, interesting, stressful, however we want to put it. No, it's all good.
Yeah, my husband used to do weddings and bar and bat mitzvahs with the video camera, so he can just edit out anything that's a little flubby. So, but I have seen some of your outdoors photography, and it's just beautiful, So I'm going to put that link down in the description section as well, so that
fabulous. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So how is the best way to keep in touch with you? How readers, want to keep in touch with you, learn more about you?
Yeah. So I have a website, obviously, LynetteEason.com, and I'm on Twitter and Facebook. Facebook probably is the best way. I'm not real active on Instagram. I'm on there, and I'm starting to do a little bit more with it, but it's like it's
so
against
different.
my wishes. Yeah, it's against my wishes. So, but that's where everybody's saying you need to be on Instagram. So anyway, those few places you can find me in. But Facebook is I'm most active on that. Yeah.
Yeah, it hits our demographic actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
Instagram is a younger demographic. I cheat. I have my daughter do mine. So.
Well, I have a virtual assistant and she does a lot of my posts, but I still get on there and interact and try to answer any questions and just make sure that I'm still a presence there, so that
and you're connecting
because they like that. Yeah, I have that connection. Yeah.
Well, folks, be sure and check out the blog interview, which the link will be down below in the description section, because there's lots of really interesting information about Lynette and her newest book, Book 3 in the Extreme Measures. Yes, I read the first 2 books and I couldn't wait for this one to come out. So, and those links are down below. Now, in this book, I did a lot of thumb biting. I got rid of some cuticles, which is kind of helpful, but I'm always amazed with authors who are able to find that balance between romance and suspense. And you do such a wonderful job of that.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. It's definitely a little bit of a dance, but yeah, I think I've just kind of gotten into my groove as far as kind of knowing how much to throw in, and because I'm so much more a suspense writer than a romance writer. My husband is way more romantic than I am, so the romance part, I know, right? Yeah.
It's the same.
So the romance part, I don't know why, because I've always loved to read romantic suspense, but I mean, I love romance, but you get what I'm saying. Anyway,
yeah.
So that one I have to work at a little harder than I had to do. It's so much easier for me to write the suspense part than the romance part. But I figured out like my method and my way of doing things, and it seems to work. So.
It definitely works. Well, I thought our viewers would like a taste of critical threat. So would you please read a little bit?
Well, I will. I'm just going to start with chapter 1. So here we go. And I don't know that I'm a great out loud reader, so just bear with me if I stumble, even though I wrote it. It's like just reading is different. Okay, so here we go. Well, listen, chapter 1, Monday, November, outside Washington, D.C. A third victim has been found, and a serial killer is once again thought to be terrorizing the Northeast. Just east of the territory, Peter Romanos paralyzed with his string of murders, Rachel Goodwin reported from her position outside the prison. Peter Romanos, who is incarcerated in the new high-security D.C. federal penitentiary, is serving 12 life sentences. Only this time, instead of teenage girls, this particular killer is targeting older women. That's all the information I have at the moment. I hope to know more soon. The camera panned away from the woman, and clips of Romanos' arrest 13 years ago took over the screen. The man in the recliner stood and frowned. Peter Romanos had got what he deserved. Caught because he'd been stupid. The killer walked down the hallway, grabbed his keys off the table near the door, stepped outside, then crossed the yard to the barn. He unlocked the padlock, lifted the wooden beam, and stepped inside, surveying his office. It wasn't what most people considered an office, but it was definitely where all the important work took place. He stepped into the stall on the left of the area where he dug the hole. It had taken him a month to get it just the way he wanted. Once he had it deep enough, he smoothed concrete on the floor and then connected the walls most of the way up, high enough that no one could climb out. The remaining sides up to the barn's floor had fencing with chicken wire to hold back the dirt and a heavy chain link fence on top that would allow air in. He didn't need anyone suffocating in there. He was the one who chose the time of death. He was the one who decided how they died. And because he paid attention to details, everything had gone according to the plan so far. No one would ever trace anything back to him, ever, because he was smart. Not like Romanos. There you
go. So you pronounce it Romanos.
Yes.
We have friends whose name are Romano.
I do. I call him Romanos, and there's different pronunciations of it, I guess. But trust me, I was not picking on your friends. I promise.
They'll appreciate knowing that.
Yeah, please pass the word.
Well, it's kind of a dubious honor, I guess. Well, I have to tell you that my younger sister, who passed away a couple of years ago, she was the one who told me about you. She was an avid reader, and So, and I trusted everything she recommended. So that's when I started reading you, is when she told me about you.
Oh, wow. Wow.
So what drew you to suspense and romance?
Well, like I mentioned a little bit earlier, I have always read. I've been a huge reader. Mom was a big reader. Every time I saw her, she had a book in her hand, and she'd be standing at the stove, staring with the book in her hand, or, you know, um, So of course, she always read to us kids, um, and I just grew up loving the written word, the ability to jump into a story and just be in a completely different world with different characters and friends and stuff. So I guess and mom always loved the mystery, the suspense stuff. So I had a collection of Nancy Drew, Hardy Boys, all of those popular books back in the okay, I'm gonna date myself, but whatever. Um, Back in the 70s and 80s, and what was the Sweet Valley High? I read those as I got older. Boxcar Children, Alfred Hitchcock, Agatha Christie, you name it, and then they're all mysteries, and so I think it was just natural for me to kind of gravitate toward that genre, and even as an adult, when I started reading, when I was reading, when I choose my stories, I would choose authors like Terry Blackstock and Dee Henderson. And so I think it was just natural for me to gravitate toward that when I was writing. It's what I love to read. And so I'm like, well, I love to read that. I guess I'll just write that.
Well, you write what you know. So
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah.
Well, now, is there going to be another book in the Extreme Measures series?
Yes. Actually, I always do a 4-book series. And after the first couple of series, I think it was either the third or the fourth series, my publisher came to me and said, we'd love to add a book to your series. It was the Elite Guardian series that they initially did this with. And so I had originally proposed a 3-book series, and they bought it, and that was that. And then they came back and said, we'd love to add a book to the contract, to the series. And I was like, well, okay. And so
that's the thing you like to hear from publishers.
Yeah, right? Well, their reasoning was they would have a Lynette Eason book every January, August. So that would, and then they would start the new series in January. So book 1 and books 3 always come out in January, which, I'm like, okay, I'm good with that. And so ever since then, I've just always proposed a 4-book series. I've created characters that I could create into a 4-book series. So that's how that came about.
I love it. Well, I'm looking forward to Countdown, which is the final book in the series.
Oh, you asked about, yes. Sorry. Okay. So, in answer to your question, Countdown is book 4 in the series and will come out in August of 2023. Thank you for getting me back on track there.
Yeah, hey, gotta stand behind my authors here. Excuse me. The A2A interview blog, which does mention Countdown, which is why I knew, has a lot of fascinating information and has kind of a really good writing tip. But you also mentioned that the single greatest writing tip you ever got was
to just write something. It doesn't matter if it's good or bad. If it's bad, you can always fix it. You just can't fix a blank page. And I keep having to remind myself of that every time I sit down in front of the laptop. And it's just great advice. And just write something. If you want to be a writer, write something.
That's really true, because I think one of the struggles I had when I first started writing was I would just keep editing myself over and over again. I would never get past that first paragraph because I kept, it could be better. And I just, it took me a while to kick myself in the tushy and stop doing that. So
Yeah, yeah. I look at some of the stuff that I write and I'm like, and I go back and I read it the next day. Like when I'm writing it, I don't think it's all
yeah.
that bad. And then I go back the next day with kind of, fresh eyes or whatever you want to call it. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, we need to fix this.
But that's the time to do it. But that's the time to do it. So yeah, instead of micromanaging every single word while you're writing the first draft.
Exactly.
I think Angie Hunt quoted something that your first draft will always be crap. So
pretty much.
Yeah. So she said, don't try to make it anything other than what it is. So yeah, I like that. Well, there's one other thing is I kind of wanted to know, what is something that most people don't know about you?
I tell people sometimes I'm not a real writer. And yeah, I do, because I don't drink coffee. I hate coffee. I don't want anything to do with anything that tastes like coffee. Now, I will say I love the smell of coffee, and I can smell it all day long, but I do not want to drink it. I have tried it to be a real writer. I thought I had to love coffee, and so I have tried it every way you can possibly imagine. I even put chocolate in it, y'all, and I still, if it tastes like coffee, can't do it.
Oh, well, I've got my
I need my space. I love that. Yeah.
Well, I was never a coffee drinker until we moved to Seattle. And Seattle is like the home of Starbucks. And there was a kiosk on like every corner and in the grocery stores, and you'd smell it. And then when they brought out the peppermint mocha, it was like, I'm doomed. I'm just doomed. So, but I have to drink. I have to drink decaf. So,
I think hot chocolate, hot tea. No,
that's true. Yeah, that's true. Well, fortunately, coffee or lack thereof, it has not affected your writing. So,
that's good thing.
So, on that note, this month's A2A giveaway, Lynette and Revell Publishers have generously offered not only Lynette's most recent book in the Extreme Measures series, but also the first two books. And not only that, but Revell is giving away 2 sets of those 3 books. So big shout out to Karen. Thanks, Karen, for offering that to our viewers. So
Karen's amazing. I love Karen.
I love Karen.
Yeah. Great.
This new redesign that we're doing, that is, it's because of Karen.
Wow.
Karen, yeah. Karen was just a gem, an absolute gem. So that means that you will get Life Flight, which I love that book. And I didn't know if I'd ever get in a helicopter though after reading it. Crossfire, and then of course Critical Threat. And so how many viewers out there would like those 3 books? And everybody should be raising their hands. And guess what? Because there are 2 winners, that means you can share this video, because I noticed that when there's only 1 book given out, there aren't as many shares as there are when there are multiple books given out and there are multiple winners. Then people say, oh yeah, you gotta enter into this giveaway. So that means share with your friends and your family, because they could win too. So if you're looking for opportunities to increase your chances of and having extra entries into the giveaway, down below in the description section are some hints on how you can do that. But basically, it is all about the comments, the likes, the shares, and the subscribes. And that applies to the already subscribers and the new subscribers. So one thing though, unfortunately, entries can only be from the contiguous US, no Alaska or Hawaii or Canada or South America. So
France, Europe, Australia.
Yeah. Sorry. So the drawing is going to be held Friday, January 13th. So don't let anyone ever be suspicious about Friday the 13th, because that is going to be a great day because 2 winners are going to win. So Lynette, do you have any final words before we sign off?
Oh, just want to say thank you so much for having me here. And I hope everyone has a wonderful, okay, so can I say New Year's?
Yes.
Yeah. I wasn't sure when you were going to post this. So anyway, I hope everybody has a wonderful New Year and happy reading.
Yay. Keep reading. God bless.
God bless.
Bye.
I was supposed to say that with you, wasn't I? Keep reading.